You're a f***ing idiot. You're not just not book smart. You're one of the dumbest people that I've ever interacted with in just this small snippet. Do you suffer from depression? All right, let's start in order of what you're saying. So your first thing is, when I talk about institutions being more of a threat than any individual president, you seem to be denying that because you're saying institutions are made up of individuals, correct?
You were saying that the people, the individuals, do not matter. The individuals are what make up the institution.
First off, that's not an accurate representation of what I was saying. I didn't say individuals don't matter. I said any one individual can matter, but they will come and go. They matter less than if these institutions themselves that stick around in perpetuity are corrupt.
Okay, so you are saying that individuals do matter. Even if it's just for a short time, they matter.
Correct.
That was my only question. I said,
well, that's so then you're in agreement with me then that a corrupt institution is a far bigger threat than a corrupt individual. You're just saying the individual also matters.
I agree with you that both of them are a problem. What you were saying and what I picked up on was that the individuals matter less, which that I don't agree with. Both of them carry a heavy responsibility.
This is going to be fun already. So what you've done already is it seems that you've sort of changed your position several times. So at first you were like, oh, you said that individuals don't matter. I never said that individuals don't matter. I said that they matter. No, I did not.
Don't matter.
Do you want, okay. You know what's great? I actually was directly reading from a post of mine. So I'm going to, now we have disagreement one here. Let's see if you're good faith, right? You're saying that what I said was individuals don't matter. So let's read exactly what I read. You tell me to stop when you hear me say individuals don't matter. You ready? Here we go. Listen, here's what I wrote. Here's what I read. Here's what no, you can be quiet and listen. You stop. I'll read sentence by sentence, then pause. You tell me which one of these sentences say individuals don't matter. Ready? Okay. First sentence, I would say you can do better, but I know you can't. That's not it, right? Correct?
Please.
Okay.
Continue.
Next, I've answered this dozens upon dozens of times from you Trump haters, but I'll answer it one more time for you. Okay, not there. I care more about the institutions that run this country more than any one individual. Was it that?
I'm actually going through the pod right now because you said it on video.
Next, presidents, senators, justices, etc. all come and go. Was that it? Next, but agencies like the FBI will remain in perpetuity. Next, therefore, a corrupt FBI or other institution is far more concerning than a corrupt individual. Next, hence my concern is, are these systems acting with fairness or with a double standard? Shall I continue? I don't read anywhere in that post that I said individuals don't matter. Now, I will give you that maybe somewhere I said that at one point, a slip of the tongue. It is clear that I'm not making that argument. What I'm saying quite simply is, of course, there could be bad acting individuals that act with corruption, but that's less important. God damn it. It's so frustrating. Is everyone else picking up the echo from time to time? I have no idea what to do. It's so frustrating. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is, of course, individuals could be corrupt, and that could be concerning. Of course, individuals could be corrupt, and that could be concerning. But corrupt institutions are a far bigger point. So, point one you say is, oh no, I think it's erroneous to say individuals can't be corrupt. I don't think I ever said that. I certainly didn't say it in that post. But if I did, I clarify to you
that they can't be corrupt. That they matter. They do matter. Individuals matter.
So again, what we're getting to is you're changing position. So your first position was, I said individuals don't matter. I never said that, or if I did, I clearly clarified. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it matters more to have a corrupt institution. You're like, oh, then you say, then you said, oh, okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're saying both matter. And I was like, right. And then you're like, but what I thought you were saying was that it mattered more, the corrupt institutions. Right. That is my exact argument. Exactly. That a corrupt institution is more of a threat than a corrupt individual. And now you're changing your position to, you disagree with that.
Both matter. That's what I said from the start. Both matter. You can't say that one matters more or less. They both
those are two different positions. Saying they both matter is one position, and saying they matter equally is another position. We both agree that both matter. Fine. We agree on that. Please, let me finish. I didn't say they don't matter. Show me where I said it. Where did I say that corrupt individuals don't matter? Show me where I ever said that. Now, do you understand that I'm saying, yes, any amount of corruption matters? For example, let me give you an example of corruption. The clerk at the grocery store that rings up my item for an extra 50 cents and then pockets that. That's corruption. Does that corruption matter? Are you not there anymore?
Is there still an echo? I cut the mic off. Is there still an echo?
No, there wasn't.
I wasn't talking.
No, there wasn't an echo then. So, corrupt grocer charges me an extra 50 cents and pockets it. That's corruption. Does that matter?
Capitalism, baby.
It's not the question.
You're paying it. They're charging it. Go somewhere else.
It's not the question. If I'm paying the price as advertised, that's one thing. If they are corruptly changing it at the register and I don't notice it to pocket 50 cents, is that corruption?
Sue them then. If they're fucking you over.
That's not the question. How can you not? Why is it that you people are impossible to deal with? You lefties are fucking impossible. That's not the question. My question was, what should my repercussions be of what I could do to them? My question is that corruption and does it matter? A yes or no will suffice.
Is it corruption?
Yes.
Is it allowed? Can you retaliate for what they have done to you?
That's not, you're asking a bunch of questions in response.
Can you retaliate for what they have done to you? Can you?
This is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to interact with someone who's clearly bad faith, that can't respond to a simple question. That can't respond to a simple question. You asking me a question in response to this simple yes-no question. Now, everyone in the audience knows, yes, that is corrupt. I'm just going to mute you. I'm just going to mute you. I'm just going to mute you. Everyone in the audience knows this is a simple question. It's not a gotcha. Yes, if someone is lying to you and artificially inflating prices and then pocketing that money, that is corrupt. That is an act of corruption. Every single person that is good faith, that agrees with me or disagrees with me, would be able to answer that question with the utmost simplicity. Yes, that's corruption. Then the question is, does that corruption matter? Yes or no? That's the question I have for you. You saying, but can you do this in response, is not an answer to the question. So my question is it corruption for that clerk to do that, and does that corruption matter?
Am I unmuted now?
I didn't mute you.
Okay. I said, if you can retaliate legally, yes.
Okay. So then, for example, a dictator comes into power into a country, right? Uses fraud, comes into power, executes all of his opposition, and then uses the military police to enforce his dictatorship. There's now legally nothing you could do. Therefore, that's not corruption, correct?
I think law went out the window when the dictator took over the country. Hello?
So then,
this is not the same situation.
Okay, so then you would argue it's not corruption. Because legally, there's nothing you could do. So therefore, there's not corruption.
Overthrew the government. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is you are drawing.
Was that legal retaliation? No.
You are drawing a line saying that there is a connection about your ability to have legal recompense as to whether it's something.
Draw a line in the dirt
Please.
outside, in the sand, at the beach. I'll draw a line wherever I want. This is what I feel. This is what I said.
Yeah, you're doing very good here. You're even amongst a crowd of dumb fuckers that call in. You're really standing out amongst the crowd here. So I'll finish what you seem to be saying. You seem to be saying that in order to call something corruption, there's some connection as to it's only corruption if you have legal recourse. Therefore, if there is no legal recourse, it can't be corrupt. So then I said, okay, here's an easy hypothetical. I said, okay, here's an easy hypothetical. So then what I say is, I mean, your mic sucks anyway, so I can talk over it. So I say, okay, here's an easy hypothetical where we could see there's a situation that I would call corrupt, but there is no legal recourse. You have to stop talking over me. Here's a situation that everyone seemingly would agree was corrupt, but there's no legal recourse. Okay, we'll see. You going to try to do this, or are you done?
I mean, if you just want to yell at each other, we can do that all night.
The reason that I'm raising my voice and getting a little animated is because you've exhibited already your lack of good faith.
I have answered your question. I said that it is corruption, and if you can legally retaliate, it's corruption.
So if I can't legally retaliate, it's not corruption.
If there is no legal retaliation for you, then where is the law that they're breaking? Where's the corruption?
Can you have an act of corruption that's not an illegal act?
What is that corruption that is active and legal?
Like, for example, I could have a vote to see who's the president of my local chess club, and I could rig that vote so that I win. That's corrupt, but there's no legal recompense. You're not out any money. The cops aren't going to come arrest me for rigging the vote in the club, but it's still corrupt.
If you rig your local high school chess club election, I don't know if there's any law on that. There might be. Maybe it is corruption. I don't know.
Okay, let's assume there's not a law. Then you would say it can't be corrupt.
If there is no law against it, then it's legal and fair game for everybody to do. Would that not be fair?
No. That is not, we don't determine the term corruption based only on illegal actions. That's erroneous. That's why we get to
law against it, so anyone can do it and it's fair. How would that be corrupt?
Yesterday you couldn't engage in a hypothetical, correct?
Yesterday, I missed what you were saying. Something about I got 50 cents or a store or something. I don't know.
That wasn't yesterday. That was a couple minutes ago. So you also don't know the difference between conversations we had yesterday and conversations we had 5 minutes ago?
Honestly, time just blends together. It's all really shitty.
Mm-hmm. Do you go to college?
Nope, I'm a truck driver.
You're a truck driver. How old are you?
30.
You're 30 years old. You're a truck driver. How's your record as a truck driver?
My record as in what?
Like, you're pretty good. You don't have a lot
of...
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. Good. It's good. It's a job I respect. I know a lot of truck drivers. I have to say, most of the truck drivers I know might not be incredibly book smart, but they're some of the wisest, best conversationalists I've ever met. Really impressive. I'm from the bottom of my heart. I mean,
that, buddy. They are not book smart.
No, that's totally true though. Like I used to escort drive for oversized loads, and my wife used to too. My father-in-law is a truck driver. He might not be someone that could, have a great understanding of like academics and book smarts, but very smart guy. You're a fucking idiot. You're not just not book smart. You're one of the dumbest people that I've ever interacted with in just this small snippet. It's not just that you're not book smart. You're literally a fucking moron. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Do I get a gold star?
No,
I
you
really
don't.
want one that says Rob on it.
You're
Please?
not a service to
Can I get
your
a signed
career.
picture? Can I get a signed picture?
No,
Just you with the background
No.
signed. Come on. Come on.
no.
No.
You're a disservice. I just wanted to get that out because I didn't want people in the chat to think the stereotype of truck drivers being people that aren't intelligent. It's not true at all. Most of the truck drivers I know have far more wisdom and common sense than me. You're an outlier. You're a fucking idiot. You can't engage in hypotheticals. Your worldview is, in the short time I've interacted with you yesterday and today, your worldview is so inconsistent. You act like a child. You act like a child.
Fuck the world is my whole goal.
That's your goal? Fuck the world.
Like, what are we
Tell me
working-
more.
What are we working for currently? What are we working for? Rob, you have a very respectable job. Very much. You go deal with handicapped people.
Yeah.
You take care of them. You're an in-home healthcare aide.
Mhm.
Very respectable job. Very respectable.
Okay. What's your point? I want to hear more about your whole thing's fuck the world. Please go on. Tell us your philosophy.
What are you working for?
What am I working for? Money
Yeah.
to provide for
Well,
my family
What's your goal? To provide for your family
Mhm.
so that they can do what?
so that they could have happy lives.
So that they can work and provide for their family.
Well, no, my wife doesn't work. My wife's raising my child. So I'm not working so my wife could work.
Yes, you're working for your
Do you have
family.
listen, maybe I
The
should have
future
been
family?
maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh to you. Do you suffer from depression? Do you?
Let's not talk.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. If you would like, I could say what I've intuited. I think you're a very depressed person. I think that you think that there's no meaning to life, that life's just a grind of getting up to work so you could go to bed and get up the next day and work. Does that sound accurate?
If that's what you're doing,
That's not what I'm doing. I love
what it
life.
is.
I love my family.
I'm not saying that you don't love life and that you hate life. I'm asking you, what are you working for?
I'm
So that
working.
they can work?
No, that's not why. Again,
No?
only someone who has this isn't difficult to explain to a person that has family and joy in their life, right? It's not hard to explain, oh, I work so that me and my family could do the things we love and spend time together. Like, that's not a hard concept to understand. The fact that you can't understand that leads me to believe that you're probably the type of person that thinks, geez, I just get up and go to work every day for no reason, just so I could go to work the next day. So I'm asking you, is that accurate? Is that how you believe?
How is that not what's happening?
Because you're depressed. That's not how most people feel. You don't have any joy in life. If you think life's just one day of work to get to the next day of work, that's being depressed. And you honestly should go seek some help for it. And I'm saying
not
I was
saying
sort of
that's
tongue in
all
cheek.
life is. I'm saying that's what it is.
That's not what I'm saying what it is. You're interpreting that
Yeah.
way because you're
Right.
projecting your depression onto me. That's not what I'm saying. And I do apologize
project it
for
on
sort
you.
of tongue in
That's
cheek
you.
calling you.
Why?
I do apologize for tongue in cheek calling you stupid, which I think you've exhibited some stupidity, but it's all sort of in fun. I'm absolutely sincere when I tell you it sounds like you need to see someone. You seriously can't contemplate when I say we're having a conversation about politics and you come up with this bizarre fuck the world, what are you working for? And I thought you meant like politically, what am I pushing for? But then you make it very clear. No, you're literally talking about why do I go to work? And I was like, well, it's simple. I go to work to get money so that me and my family could raise my family and we could have fun and spend time together as a family and do things we love as a family. And you're like, so you just work so they could work. Now, no one that heard that's any kind of happiness or has connection to their family would interpret that as such. They would say, oh, I clearly understand what Rob's talking about. So it seems to me that you're projecting the fact that you can't understand when I say, I love my family. I work to provide for my family. It makes me feel good. I'm not working as just a cog in a machine so that they may work as a cog in a machine. But that's how you view it, right? Is that how you view your life?
happening.
That is not what's happening. That's how you view your life.
How is it not?
Because is that
Are
how
your
you?
kids not going to be cogs in a machine?
No.
Are
Is
they
that
not?
how?
Are
No.
you going to
Is
be a millionaire and
no.
do whatever the fuck they want?
No. Are millionaires cogs in the machine or not?
They may have a better life, which is pretty much the point. You're just working so that they can have it slightly better than you have it now. Fine.
Do
Why
you
does it
feel like?
have
Do you?
to be?
I'm just asking you. If you want to say I don't want to answer, that's fine. But you clearly hear me saying I asked you like 4 times now. Are you saying, as I seem to think that you're projecting onto me, that you feel your life is just going to work so that you could wake up the next day and go to work? Is that what you feel?
Look, obviously, you use time off and everything else for vacation and spend time with your family and have fun with them. Obviously, everyone's doing that. But at the end of the day, the next Monday, you go back to work. And so are your kids. Everybody's just going back to work. For what?
You need to go to a you need to go to a psychiatrist. You need to go to a psychiatrist. Or you need, better yet, you need to find close ones to you that love you. Or you need to go to
what I need is
church.
$2 million.
No,
That'd
it won't
really
help
great.
you. It won't help you. I don't need millions of dollars to be happy. I'm one of the happiest. No,
I'm not saying that $1 million will make you happy. I'm saying it would be really fucking nice.
No, it won't help you. No, what I'm saying. No, I'm not. Again, it won't help you. Is what I'm saying. Because if your outlook is all's life is work with some moments of breathing room. But if I just had $1 million, you'll eventually go through that. That money will bring other problems that you'll perseverate on. And then it'll be spent. And then you'll be right back to having to work and saying every day's just working to get to the next day. There is a deeper spiritual problem with you than materialism. Your problem isn't that you don't have enough things and money. Your problem is spiritual and psychological. That's your problem. And that's why you project it onto someone like me. You say, but what do you mean you work for your family?
What are you working for, Rob?
My family.
What are you working for?
My family.
Okay. What do you hope for them?
I hope that my family has a loving life. I hope that they enjoy life. I hope that they have fun.
Do you hope
that they
have to go to work every day?
It's not an issue of hoping that. That's like saying, do you hope that your family has to breathe oxygen every day?
It's not something you have to hope for. It's the reality.
It doesn't matter. That's exactly it. You're right. So that would be like me saying, so then let's say I take the same black pill as you and I say, all's life is taking one breath to get to the next breath. Why do you breathe, Rob? So that your family may breathe as well? But it's just one breath. Do you hope every day that your family will need to breathe tomorrow? Right. I guess that a depressed black pill, spiritually unfulfilled person could have that.
Breathing, literally something
it's not. You are setting
a job.
You are setting. So what do you? So you're a socialist. You don't think people should have to work?
No one should be required to do it.
So if no one's required to work,
you want to go off in the fucking woods and build you a hut and die in 2 years because you starved to death and didn't plan for it, fucking fine, go for it.
Go.
But no one should be required.
You're not required. Go do that. What you just suggested is literally possible. Go. What's stopping you? Shut your phone off. Shut your computer off right now. Walk into the woods. Go.
Because I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I like the internet. I'm playing.
Oh, wait a minute. So then you're not required to work. You're not. You just said you want a world where you're not required to work. You want a world. No, listen. No, listen. You just said. No, wait. No, what you just said was what you just
to provide for a family, Rob. I have to provide.
So then your argument is that you think that you should be able to procreate and not be responsible for providing for your family. You think that that's a corrupt system or a system, we won't use the word corrupt because apparently you don't know what that means. You think that that is a bad system, that because you procreated or because you have a family that you have to produce something of value so that you could get resources to provide to your family. You think that that's somehow pitiable. That's something that we shouldn't have.
I don't have any kids, Rob.
But you have a family? What do you mean, girlfriend, wife?
I have a family. I have 4 brothers and sisters. no
Okay.
mother and father.
So you have 4 brothers and sisters that you financially support through your job.
That I have to, yes.
And so you think that you shouldn't have to, and instead we should have a system that somehow they're just taken care of, and then you would walk into the woods and you wouldn't have to work anymore. That's what you would do. If your family was taken care of, you would no longer be on the computer right now. You would stop working and you would be in the woods. That's what you would be doing right now, correct?
Oh yeah.
I think you're a liar.
I fucking absolutely would. You have no.
You just uttered, like expletively said out, I like my computer. I like playing games. That's what you said last time. Now you've changed it to actually you would willingly give all of that up.
The money I make from my job just for a fucking computer. I don't need all that money just for a computer.
How would you get a computer without working?
One paycheck would pay for a fucking computer.
So you would still be.
You would think, go out to the fucking, if I wanted to go out into the woods, that was just an example.
So wait, so let me get this straight. Your argument is, okay, you want a world where you're not required to work, and then you could just go out in the woods and live off the land. But you would work for 2 weeks to get one paycheck to buy a computer. How will you pay for the electricity for your computer?
Solar.
What's that?
Solar.
How would you pay? So you're capable yourself. Now, you said you're a person that's a truck driver, and you apparently didn't go to school. You are capable yourself of creating solar panels? What's that?
I would buy them.
You would buy. So let me ask you this. Given all of that, would you be able, how would you get food? Can you hunt?
Yes.
Okay, then my question to you is, why don't you take your family to the woods, make your own solar, work a paycheck or two to buy them a computer and a PlayStation, and then hunt for their food and stop going to work? Why don't you do that?
If they come, we would be there.
What's that?
If they would come, we would be there.
So then it's not the system that's fucking you over, it's your family. Because you feel trapped that you have to go to work to provide for them, and even though you could provide for them in the way you want, by living off the land, by creating solar panels, living in the woods, hunting, you're capable of providing for them for that, but they're selfish and refuse to allow for you to provide in that way. That's your argument.
Yes. They're terrible people.
Yeah,
they're awful.
You're a liar. You're making up a story. First off, you've exhibited that you don't have the intelligence to live off the land. It's asinine to. It's asinine. What's that?
Do you want family photos? You're saying I'm making it up that I
No,
don't.
I believe you have a.
Photos?
If you would listen to me, I believe you have a family. You remind me of a person. I'll tell the story of who you remind me of once you leave, or at the end of this, whatever. But I believe you have a family. I believe that you were born and there are parents and you probably have siblings. What I don't believe is that they're sitting around helpless, that you're working insane hours to solely provide for them, that you are capable of living off the land, that you are capable of crafting your own solar panels to the point where you are going to be some, please let me finish. You're capable of.
Real quick. I'm 30.
Okay.
The second is 20. The rest are under 16.
Okay. And?
So, no, they're not entirely able of supporting themselves.
I didn't say just support themselves. They don't have parents?
That they're fucking helpless is what you said. And they were adopted.
Oh, no.
Their parents were scumbags.
Okay, so now they're adopted, so they have adoptive parents, and the adoptive parents don't help support them? It's just you.
The dad is my stepdad.
Okay.
The mom is probably dead in a ditch somewhere. I
Okay.
don't know, and I hope she is.
Okay. So your stepdad doesn't help support. It's just
Kind of
you.
Expensive, isn't it? Things are expensive, aren't they?
What doesn't matter?
For seven people, it's a little expensive.
But you're capable of living off the land. What do they really need? You could provide them with food. You could build your own house. You could build your own solar panels. You're going to live in the woods and not work, and yet somehow still have internet, electricity, a computer, play games. You're capable of doing that without working, apparently. You'd only need, in your words, quote, one paycheck. You're delusional and a liar. That's what you are.
Everything
You are
you
someone
look
who
at-
is spiritually unfulfilled. What you need to do is go to a church. That's what you need. You are projecting, just like so many scumbag lefties, you assume because you don't value your life that that same hell
See, the
need to
thing
be
about
input
lefties is
on
because
other
I don't
people.
support
You
Trump.
can't
I
fathom
voted for him in 2016.
you can't fathom that a person like me might enjoy their life and like going to work and like providing for my family. And it's not just constant misery that I'm working so that I could work so that my family could work.
No, it's not at all that I can't imagine that. You clearly do that. You have a very respectable job.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I've said, very respectable job. It's not that I can't imagine that people can be in your position.
But you've routinely
Why
said
are
that,
we-
why am I doing it? You're just working so your kid could work, so your wife could work. And I've explained to you over and over. What's
You
that?
have to do it. You
I don't have to
it.
do it.
Otherwise, your kids won't have a future.
Well,
You have to.
that's true.
You
I have to
keep
provide,
working
right.
every day, or they
Human-
won't have a future.
Listen,
Why? That is the question that I asked you, Rob.
because that's human nature. Because humans and all life requires resources to live. And the ability and having to get
doesn't
those
require any of that.
resources requires work. It requires effort. Even in the days before capitalism, when we lived the dream that you're talking about of people living in the woods, you still had to wake up and work. The work may have been different. It may not have been doing what I'm doing, which is working with people with developmental disabilities, but it was actually far more difficult work. Hunting, gathering, farming.
Gathering.
That's still
More
work.
responsibility.
You're envisioning the dream of the nihilistic lazy man who says everything should be given to us all for free. No one should have to put energy into anything. That's not how the world works.
Yeah, and I said, why, Rob? Why do we have to? Why do you have to every day go to work?
Why do you have
So I
to
can
eat to
do it.
live? Why do you have to eat to live?
You need calories.
Right. So there is a biological necessity to do so. How do you
But
get
there's
food?
no biological necessity to go to fucking work.
Yes, there is. There's a biological necessity to need to put effort in to get that food. It's not just going to fall into your mouth magically.
Well, if you sit under a tree, it will.
Really? So now your argument is that you could live under a tree, not move, not have to expend any energy, keep your mouth open, and food will magically fall. An apple could fall into your mouth, so therefore you'll be good. You could live life.
At least once that'll happen.
You realize the stupidity of your position yet again, right? And why I called you dumb previously. That's not a serious argument. Hopefully even you could understand that.
Is everything that you say and that I have to say hyper, like, I don't know, like none of it could be a joke? None of it at all?
Well, it could be
Like
a
laying
joke.
under
That's
a tree with
fine.
your mouth
It-
open?
it-
That's
no.
clearly a fucking joke, right?
Right.
Come on.
It is clearly a joke. That's the point I just made. That's why I said it's clearly not a serious answer. I didn't call it a joke because I think inherently to call something a joke, it should be a little funny. I didn't find it amusing, but I correctly analyzed that it wasn't a serious. I analyzed it wasn't a serious response. So what's your serious response then? You're the one who wanted to talk about this shit. I thought we were talking about Trump's legal cases.
Point on what?
I thought we were talking about Trump's legal cases, and instead you wanted to get philosophical and said,
That was
why the
yesterday.
fuck all
That
of
was
life?
yesterday.
Why do we work?
Today,
That's
you
what
wanna
you
talk
wanted to
about
talk about.
abortion.
You literally had
Today
just,
you wanted to talk about abortion.
you have
That was like the
still,
first 45 minutes. I
That
missed
is
the
not-
first hour. I will apologize.
that
I'm
is
sorry
not-
about that.
that is not what I talked about abortion very briefly. You admitted that you didn't hear the first hour. Most of it was in that
Yeah.
first hour.
I do
You
apologize.
came on
I wish I-
specifically, the part we were talking about where you were calling in was specifically talking about whether or not a corrupt individual is less of a big deal than a corrupt institution.
Whether or not
And then
that is
let me
more than
finish
institution.
because I know it's difficult. This happens routinely when I talk to people when they try to misrepresent how the conversation got where it went. The reason we are now on this is because you said, why don't we just fuck the world? Why do you work? And I was like, what? Why do you go to work? That's how we got to where we're at now.
My personal position is fuck the world. My personal.
Okay.
Not everyone else. Yeah, my personal.
Wait, I understand. It's a discussion between me and you. So we're talking about our personal beliefs and positions, right?
But I hate when you start lumping in, just like yesterday, you said, oh, well, this guy's just a Hutch. Like, I don't even fucking know Hutch's political standings. I guess he's on the left. It's like, I don't know anything about it.
You were behaving in a similar manner because my guess is that your political ideologies are both corely focused on the same thing, which is your hatred of Donald Trump.
Well, my thing yesterday, no, I voted for him in 2016.
Do you hate him now?
I was asking what the amount was because you were harping a lot on that. I was just asking, well, what's the amount? How much money did he supposedly scam out of them, getting fraud? How much?
Okay. Now, I understand, and I'm willing to switch to the topic that we were talking about last night if you like, but I just want to say that your point that you were making here that was nonsensical shows that you are a depressed person and you believe in a fantastical version of what reality should be that would not only be pragmatically disastrous for society, as if people didn't have to expend energy for anything and everything was just given to them, then people would stop working and it would lead to a society crumbling where actually the people that were willing to work would end up being kings and live and thrive, and people like you would wither on the vine and become absolutely worthless.
If we took one state and just said, hey, if you don't want to work, you can go here and everything will be provided for you.
That's
bad, do you think?
Terrible. How many people would you work in that world?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. It's curious as a thought that just crossed my mind right now. It would be terrible. If they said, hey, everything's free, go to Montana. How much of the country do you think would go to Montana?
How's San Francisco looking? That's what they did with the drug addicts and the homeless population there. They said, this will fix it. We'll fix things. We'll give them free money. We'll give them free. We don't need to, now I know you exhibited yesterday, you don't understand hypotheticals. Now you're asking me one, but when I ask you, you don't understand them. You're like, how could that be? But we don't even need, I'll answer the hypothetical and then give you, I'll answer the hypothetical and then I'll give you the actual reality that's actually occurred. So we don't even need the hypothetical. The answer to the hypothetical would be if we had a society that just said, hey, if you don't want to do anything, come to this place and we'll provide for all of your needs, it would fall apart because you would quickly see that more people than not would say, good, I don't want to do anything.
It's apart if the government is propping it up. How would it fall apart?
What is the government?
You really don't have to do nothing if you go there.
What is the government?
It's the same thing it is now.
What is the government?
Same thing it is now.
What is the government? Define the government.
What is the government?
Yes. What is the government?
Let's just say what we have now, except there are going to be.
What do you mean what we have now? What is the government? What is the government?
What is the government?
Do they have magic? For example, okay, so the government's going to...
The definition of what we have now. Like, what are you asking?
The government is an institution made to represent the will of the people. They don't own shit. The government land is our land. So let me, please get it out. Show everyone how smart you are. Get it out.
You're saying what is the government, and then the government is a representation of the people, right?
They don't own shit.
So
their shit is shit they take from us. Yet this is the problem. I've talked to people like you before. The government aren't wizards. The government aren't wizards that go like this. And free food for everyone. And free PlayStations, and free computer games for you, and free houses for you, free for everyone. Everything is free. We wave this wand and we create it. That's not how it works. So let me explain the situation. Just like you,
it does work that way.
It doesn't work in this hypothetical. So in the hypothetical where now your hypothetical is, okay.
I asked the hypothetical, it works this way.
Okay, so in your you're saying hypothetically, if the government had a magic wand, that's your argument. That's your argument, right?
Let's say Montana just became a fucking go there, you can do whatever you want, we'll provide everything for you. Would that really be such a bad thing?
You can't even follow your own hypothetical. Now, so if you said to that, if someone says to me, like you're apparently saying, let's say the state of Montana says, we'll give you all this shit for free. Anything you want, you come here. You don't have to work. We'll give you everything you could want for free. Would that be such a bad thing? The very first problem with that anyone with a second grade education could see is like, well, where are they getting all of this free shit? Someone has to work and make and provide this free shit. So if you tell everyone you no longer have to work, who's going to be janitors? Who's going to do difficult jobs when they could literally get everything they want? And if there aren't people doing those jobs, then how is the government going to create? Please be quiet. How is the government? Please, last chance, you're going to be muted, right? And so then the first objection clearly becomes, okay, then if those people aren't working to produce those goods and services that we're going to give away for free, then all of a sudden the society would collapse because the free PlayStation that you want and the free food that you want and the free housing that you want isn't being created because government's not some magic entity. Government is just a collection of the representation of the will of the people. Hypothetically, that's what it's supposed to be. They don't have a magic wand. And your response to that is, in my hypothetical, they do. Right? So now the hypothetical is shifted.
Exactly.
So now my first
made up hypothetical. Well, people also have golden wings. You know, it's just made up bullshit. You can't.
Well, here's the funny part, right? You previously said, "Can't you tell when I'm doing a joke?" No, I can't tell when you're doing a joke now. Are you joking when you're saying they have a magic wand, or are you not joking? Are you asking me? Let's assume that goods could be created by
it's a hypothetical, so it's not real.
Right, I understand what hypothetical means, you don't. But if you're going to change the rules of reality for your hypothetical, you have to announce that. You can't just assume that the rest of us are thinking. For example, it'd be like, what if I then say like, well, actually, I think this could have negative effects on gravity, and you say, well, clearly I meant in my hypothetical that gravity no longer exists. How the fuck would I know that? How would I know that your hypothetical of let's just give free shit away also included the government has a magic wand to create free shit?
I included that.
What's that?
I said it did. Yes.
Yes, after I first raised the objection that yes, it's not.
You added that stipulation of well, what about this? Okay, well it does.
First off, okay, now to answer you. So now I just want to be clear. So now I just want to be clear with the audience. He can't defend the hypothetical of how something like this would work in the real world. So now we're in insane fantasy land of the government has a magic wand, right? I just want to be clear. That's where we're at. That's where this intelligent person wanted to bring the conversation. Okay, let's talk about the hypothetical situation where the government has a magic wand and says...
Pause right now. Pause right the fuck now. I never said I was educated.
Yeah, let's talk about the hypothetical situation where the government has a magic wand and create everything that you desire. Would it be a good idea for them to create everything people desire and no one have to work anymore? No, it would still be a bad idea. Because the problem's not just on the production end of things, and that the first example that I gave and the first problem, there's also a problem and what it does to a person when they no longer have to be energized to work for anything and everything is given to them for free. There's actually an experiment that they've done. I'm going to screw this up, but they've replicated this experience dozens and dozens of times. It's called the Mouse Utopia experiences. And you should look this up. And what they did was they took these mice that they'd studied over and over again, this population of mice, and they set it up in different conditions with their resources. So like how much food they gave them, they'd have to accomplish certain tasks to be able to get food, et cetera, et cetera. One of the times they decided to run this experiment, what they would do is just create a utopic society where the mice didn't have to do anything. They were fed, they were given anything they wanted, extra treats, food, all of their resources were taken care of. What happened was that they all broke down and resulted in cannibalism. They resulted in things like increased homosexuality. I don't know if it was exactly homosexual. The male mice started to create a population of them that were basically asexual or engaged in homosexual activity that would no longer be interested in reproduction. There were hierarchies that were formed that resulted in the society completely and totally breaking down. And that didn't happen once. Every time they ran the experiment, that happened. And the truth is, that's what would happen with humans too. And like I was saying, we don't need to go to the hypothetical. We could go to a place like San Francisco. So it wasn't a magic wand, but you could see the results of what's going on there. They said, let's just give people more resources. Let's give these homeless drug addicts free needles. Let's give them free money. Let's give them free free food. At one point, several years ago, what they decided to do, and this sounds like something that you would do for a big heart, they said, let's give them all apartments. And you know what happened to the homeless population that they gave apartments? Their negative consequences rose sharply, including death. Because what happened was when they had more resources and more ability, they then turned that resources into more vices and more drugs. They lost the will to live even more.
Obviously, if you give homes,
What's that?
obviously, if you give homes to people that are fucking drug addicts, they're gonna rip the copper pipes out of the
So
wall.
your hypothetical
Obviously.
so in your hypothetical, homeless drug addicts would not be able to go to Montana and get whatever they want.
They sure could. They could come on down to Montana and they can rip the copper out of those homes all they want. And then
There you
they'll
go.
be kicked out. Oh, well, actually, I pick Montana mainly because California, I've been to California. I've delivered a lot to California. And you do see homeless everywhere a lot, in tents, under bridges, everywhere. It's really crazy just driving along the interstate out there. Well, I mean, in Montana, they'd freeze to death, right?
Anything else? You ready to head out?
Hey, I had a really good time. I'm glad you brought me on. I really do love you. I seen you on Destiny stream a long time ago, and just a fan. I'm glad.
Thank you, man, for the kind words. I hope you get help for your depression. Consider going to a church or getting a girlfriend and having some kids or something once you can take care of them, because you sound like a really depressed person. Okay, we'll see you. Now, when people ask me, like, why do you talk to people like Pisco? Why do you talk to people like Hutch? Why do you talk to people like Destiny? Do you see?